Shalom. It is Ruvain Ibrahimov, the Haftorahman. And I would like to share what this week's Haftorah is all about. Where are we coming from? The Hampton Synagogue. And it has been impressive what Rabbi Mark Schneier has done to get the shul up and running again. And I would like to acknowledge also Rabbi Bronstein, the great Nathanael Hershtig, the Chazan. Also, we'll soon have the choir back with the maestro Chaimov, Yitzchak Chaimov leading it, and of course, the strongest woman that we have in our organization is our president, Carol Levin. So this week's Haftarah is actually the same Haftarah that we read on Shabbat Chanukah. Why? Because the ending of it talks about the menorah. Interesting. The menorah, the candelabra, was the first symbol in monotheism, the first monotheistic symbol. Why? Because Christianity didn't start for another 1,000 years. Forget, Islam didn't start for 2,000 years. So here's why we read this Haftarah. The Parashat, the Torah portion, is Bahaloscha. When you rise up to light the menorah in the Mishkan, in the tabernacle, and who was appointed to do this? Aaron HaKohen. So now we need to pick a Haftarah with a similar theme to the Parashat. The supplemental reading that comes from the book of Zechariah, God remembered, and it comes from the chapters 2 and then chapter 3 that we have it in a little bit of chapter 4. Interesting. So Zechariah, who is this man, is one of the Nevi'im that is towards the end of the prophetic lives in the Tanakh, in the books of the prophets, and he lived in the time where people was returning after the 70 years in the Babylonian exile. He was one of the prophets that led the nation of Israel from Babylonia, even though there was Persian sovereignty, back to the city of Jerusalem with the permission of Cyrus, the king of Persia. And they were there to rebuild the second Beit HaMikdash, the second house of God. How many people came back? Well, not that many, only 42,000. And what happened is many people that did live in Babylonia made a lot of money, were wealthy, didn't want to leave the business. So only the people that were not that successful went back to the city of Jerusalem. Now, here's what is the Haftarah's kickoff. It says, Rani v'simchi bat Zion, where the prophet is saying that Jerusalem is speaking as if it's a person, and it's saying, sing and rejoice, daughter of Zion. Zion is another name for the city of Jerusalem. Why? V'shachanti b'sochech, because God says, I'm back. I abandoned Jerusalem, that's why it fell to Babylonia. Guess what? You paid your servitude to God while being in the Babylonian exile. Now God says, I'm back. And that the state of Judah and the city of Jerusalem was now going to be repopulated. So, has and anamanapia, that everybody hush up, the better days are coming. Part 2 of the Haftarah is Zechariah relates a vision of the heavenly court. And he's got the Kohen Gadol there, Yehoshua, not Moses' successor. And what he does is he has a trial. Now, the trial is about that Yehoshua did not fulfill the preventing of his children into marrying. However, God says, Halo ze ud mutzal me'esh, that the Israelites, the Judeans, were like this ember saved from the big fire. And that, you know something, they went through the furnace, now they came out, and that the Kohen Gadol was then being on trial. The introduction of Satan, he's on a trial, he is exonerated, he is told to move forward, put on a new outfit, and make sure to keep the Torah. Then we finish up with the most important part of the Haftarah, and that is within this section. It says that Zechariah has a vision, and he sees this menorah, and it has 2 olive trees with the oil coming through the trees into the menorah to light the menorah. This, by the way, is the emblem of the state of Israel that you can see with the menorah and the 2 olive branches. It originates from here. And the malach, the angel, says, Zechariah, what do you see? And he's like this, I don't know. And he says, let me tell you something. You're worried about coming back to the city of Jerusalem, being surrounded by your enemies. You don't need the koach like this. Lo v'chayil v'lo b'koach ki im beruchi amar Adonai. Translated, not by might, not by strength, but only by the Spirit of God. That God's Spirit can make anything happen, and God wants this to happen, so just relax, and everything is going to be okay. So now, what's the takeaway? Is that each and every one of us is like this light unto the nations, and that we should be mindful, especially in this coronavirus time, to set examples for other people, how they should live their life, how they should appreciate each other, and appreciate God's gift of health, and that all of us should have a Shabbat Shalom, and like Aharon would ascend to the platform to light the menorah, we should all ascend above our mundaneness and live a life of holiness. I love you all. Shabbat Shalom. See you soon.